Hi guys and welcome back to the Mighty Blues. My name is of course Cameron and welcome back today to another live stream. It is the game preview, Merseyside derby, Liverpool versus Everton. It's come around again, hasn't it? The game that I think it's fair to say we all dread, we all absolutely despise. I hate Merseyside derbies for obvious reasons. I always have done and I probably always will do for those reasons. And every time one of these fixtures comes about, I just spend the entirety of the 24 to 48 hours before the game worrying, and typically the week, maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks after the game, absolutely fuming and upset. It wasn't the case last time we faced Liverpool at Anfield, it has to be said, and I will bring that up because, you know, we haven't witnessed many of them in recent years, so, you know, I will be sure to say that last time this fixture was played, Liverpool versus Everton at Anfield, it ended up in an Everton win, which obviously was fantastic last season. But this one, I think, is one that not many of us, if any of us, are looking forward to. I think you'd struggle to find an Evertonian on the planet that is looking at Sunday with any form of excitement or, you know, good feeling towards it. And that's not just because it's a Merseyside derby. That's not just because we're playing Liverpool. That's not just because of the usual nerves around the fixture and the usual, you know, atmosphere and anxiety surrounding what this fixture means and how important this fixture is to us as fans and Everton as a football club. But that's also because of the situation that, you know, we happen to be in ourselves in the league. Typically, whenever we've faced Liverpool at Anfield, it's usually the second half of the season. It's usually around this time in the year. And although it means everything and the anxiety, as I said, and the worry and the stress is there for the fixture, Everton are typically, you know, in and around mid-table, maybe fighting for European positions, but, you know, safe, no chance of relegation, just hovering around mid-table. And Liverpool are either there or thereabouts, or obviously in recent years, fighting at the top of the league towards the, you know, the Champions League places, and more recently towards the title as well. Whereas this one is much different, isn't it? Because this one is a game in which Everton are fighting relegation, really, and, you know, forget what them lot are doing across the park. We know the importance of this fixture for them as well. They're trying to win as many trophies as they possibly can, and, you know, in terms of the league table, they're 1 point behind Manchester City, currently sits second in the league, won 23, drawn 7, lost 2. Last time they lost was actually in December, 28th of December, against Leicester away from home in the Premier League. They have lost in Europe since then, but in the Premier League, the last time they lost was December. But forget what it means to them, because I'm not really arsed about what it means to them. And if we win on Sunday, the last thing I'll be thinking of is, oh, look at what that does to the title race, and that means that they mightn't win the title now, or that means that they mightn't, you know, they mightn't lift all 4 trophies. I honestly couldn't give a shit. I couldn't give a shit whether they do, or I couldn't give a shit whether they don't, to be honest with you. All as I'll be saying on Sunday if we win is, A, we've won another derby in Anfield, which would be amazing, but also B, it's another 3 points towards safety, and a 3 points that, let's be honest, we desperately could do with. However, that 3 points is, I think it's fair to say, unlikely. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say we've got absolutely no chance, because I don't think that's the type of mentality we should be adopting. It's fair for us to sit here as fans and say that there's very little chance we'll get anything out of this game, or that, you know, we've got absolutely no confidence of getting anything out of this game. But one thing I would say is if any of the Everton squad, or Frank Lampard, the manager, or any of the coaching staff, or anybody at Everton Football Club is going into this game with the mindset and the mentality of we'll get absolutely nothing out of this, then don't bother going into it. Don't bother turning up. Don't bother going to Anfield on the weekend. Don't bother going through all of the pre-match stuff. Just don't turn up. Just turn round to the Premier League and say we ain't playing this game. Because to go into a Merseyside derby, regardless of how good this Liverpool team are and how bad this Everton team have been this season, to go into a Merseyside derby with a defeatist mentality from the players and the manager, I'm not saying that they have got that, but that would just be an absolute disaster. So although we as fans evidently and you know, understandably are sitting here saying we've got absolutely no chance, and, you know, it'll be another nightmare of a day for us, these players and this manager can't believe that. They simply can't believe that. They've got to believe that this is a game they can get something out of. They've got to believe that this is another opportunity to pick points up. And as I said yesterday, and I think I said it on Wednesday night after the game as well, if we're not going to win every home game that we've got coming up, especially the ones that you look at and you think that's very winnable, i.e. your Wolves, i.e. your Leicester, then we've got to start picking up points away from home. And I don't really care where that is, to be honest with you. I don't care whether that's at Watford, whether it's at Anfield, whether it's at the Emirates on the last day of the season. I don't really care where it is, as long as we start to pick up points away from home. But what a opportunity it would be to do that on Sunday. And this game almost feels like it's that against us, with the situation that we're in and the situation Liverpool are in. It's almost like a story, isn't it? It is very much sort of David versus Goliath, very much sort of the underdog versus whatever the opposite of an underdog is. You know, and in the sense of Liverpool fighting for the title and fighting for all of the trophies, Everton battling relegation towards the bottom of the table. I've got this weird sort of, and I don't know whether this is the 24, 48 hour before a game bit of naivety and strange confidence because I believe in my football club feeling, but I've got this strange sort of feeling of a what if, not a confidence that we'll get something on Sunday, because that would be stupid, because not only are they an extremely good football team, and they are, whether we like it or not. I absolutely fucking detest them, I hate them, but they're an extremely good football team. Let's have it right, let's say it how it is. And not only have we been extremely bad this season, but so I'm not going to sit here and say I've got a confidence, or I've got a sort of, yeah, we'll get something on Sunday, because away from home we've been absolute dog shit. But I've just got this sort of weird, as I said, it's probably just naivety, it's probably just sheer that feeling you get, you know, sometimes before a game, where you think, yeah, do you know what, it's all against us here, but we'll get something today. And then 20 minutes into a game you start to realise, oh, actually we're not going to get anything today. And maybe that'll be the case come Sunday, but I have just got this weird feeling in myself that, you know, I've witnessed a lot of games of football in my time as an Evertonian where we have been the team that everybody looks at beforehand and says, you're not getting anything out of that, you'll get absolutely beaten to a pulp. You know, in that game you'll be battered. Chelsea this season was one of which. You know, we played a squad full of young players, a lot of whom had no Premier League experience whatsoever. We were playing a Chelsea team who at the time were still in a title race, and we managed to go there and get a point at Stamford Bridge. We very rarely get points at Stamford Bridge, even with full strength teams out in recent years. So I just, again, it would almost be poetic for Everton to get a result on Sunday, be it a point or be it 3 points, but it would be, and it will be absolutely, you know, it will be so difficult. And I know there'll be Liverpool fans watching this who'll be laughing their heads off, thinking, can't wait to tweet this knobhead when we're 4-0 up after half an hour. And that might be the case, because as I said, you know, not only are Everton drastically dreadful away from home, but Liverpool are you know, fighting for the title and are one of the best teams in the world at the moment and are unstoppable. Have just put 4 past Manchester United. They beat Manchester City the week before. They're ruthless in their play. You know, as I said, there's been times previously where Liverpool have had good teams, but when it comes to good big games, those good teams have struggled because of the mentality of them, or because of being able to get through that tough fixture. Whereas I don't think this Liverpool team has that problem. I don't think this Liverpool team has any problem with facing other teams and big fixtures and derbies and games against Man United, etc, etc. And that pains me to say, because I just wish we were like that. I really, really wish we were like that. But I don't know. I just feel like I've got this strange sort of feeling within me that that we can get something on Sunday. And as I said, the players and the manager have got to have that belief as well. Because if the players and the manager don't believe we can get something on Sunday, then what's the point? What's the point in us all turning up to support the team and to watch the team and to, you know, cheer them on and in many different ways? What's the point if the players and the manager don't believe we can get something? So I sincerely do hope that they do, and judging by Frank Lampard's press conference today, it sounds like he does. But in all fairness, he's not going to come out and say, "No, we'll get battered on Sunday." So I don't know why anybody's worried, or I don't know why anybody's talking about it, because you know, we'll get battered. He's not going to say that, is he? But you know, again, I look at this game and as nervous as I am for it, As much as I'm dreading it, I'm trying not to think about it because we've actually got a Saturday without having to think about football. My dad said to me before, we could get an absolute beating on Saturday because he mixed the days up. And I said, well, that's a positive in itself, isn't it? A big positive is we won't get beat on Saturday. So at least we'll all get our Saturday. We might get absolutely tongued on Sunday, but we won't get beat on Saturday, which is a positive, isn't it? We get Friday night, we get all our Saturday, all in preparation for Sunday. But no, look, it will be the toughest game Frank Lampard has faced as Everton manager. I think, although I massively despised him, I just think they're in better form than Manchester City at the moment. I think they're seemingly more capable of picking up results than Manchester City are at the moment as well. Although Manchester City haven't dropped many points, it's very, very close. But so I do think this will be the toughest game that Frank Lampard has faced. Plus it's at Anfield, whereas the City game is at Goodison. We don't need to sit here and talk about the players they've got at their disposal. Mohamed Salah, Sadio Mane, Luis Diaz, which still breaks my heart every time I see him in that shirt. What could have been, even the likes of Diego Jota, Thiago, players that, certainly in Thiago's case, have taken a little bit longer to settle in, but now we seem to have found some form. We know about Van Dijk, we know about the goalkeeper. We don't need to sit here and talk about Liverpool's team because, quite frankly, I don't want to. But I think it's important that these Everton players, A, understand the size of this fixture, B, understand the situation that we're in. Now, I was on Twitter this morning and I was just scrolling through and I noticed that Jurgen Klopp was doing his press conference, and I didn't watch it, but I follow a couple of journalists that were tweeting out some of the quotes from Jurgen Klopp's press conference, and I found one of them, and one of them was something along the lines of, we can't afford to give everything in this game because we've got other games to prioritise, or we've got other games that we need to focus on, i.e. we can't afford to give all of our energy because there's other games that we need to, be focusing on between now and the end of the season. And for me, that should be the message that Frank Lampard sends out to this Everton squad. They can't afford to give everything. He said it there. They can't afford to throw 100% at it. They can't afford to throw all of the emotion and desire at it. So you go and do that. And don't get me wrong, we could throw everything at it. As I said, desire, passion, fight, commitment, battle, and we could play our best game and still lose because they're a better team than we are and they've got better players than we have. Or we could do that and catch them on the counter-attack, or keep them at bay and manage to scrape a point. Or put a performance in that makes us all go, do you know what? I can be proud of that today. What I don't want to see on Sunday is us going 2-0 down within 15 minutes and then hanging our heads and thinking, it's done this. This is, we'll write this one off. Although we as fans might be looking at the next two games saying we can write them off and then we'll focus on the following four. As I said, for me, Frank Lampard and the players absolutely can't be doing that. I want to see maximum effort, maximum desire, maximum commitment from minute 1 to minute 90. Because there's a game of football there to be played. There's 3 points on the line. And it's an important 3 points for Liverpool as well, because of the situation that they're in. But we need to make sure that they know it's more important to us. We need to want it more than they do. Because the reality of the situation is, we're our Premier League status is at risk. Yes, they mightn't win the league. They mightn't win the league as if they haven't got other trophies that they're in or whatever. We might go down and not come back up for a considerable amount of time. So, and as I said, I don't really give a fuck what it means to Liverpool or how important it is to Liverpool, because I couldn't give a shit about that. I care what this means to Everton, and I know that whether this was against Liverpool, Tottenham, Brentford, Burnley, every single game now means everything to Everton. Every single game. This one just happens to be a Merseyside derby at Anfield, but it's got more meaning than any Merseyside derby at Anfield has had in previous years, because there's more on the line. We can't really afford to be taking a massive beating and to have the confidence and the little bit of momentum I suppose we've got from taking 4 points out the last 6, washed away from a complete beating against Liverpool. We can't afford that, and that might happen because of how good they are. But as I said, for me, everything's got to be there: the desire, the commitment, the passion, the fight. But also, as the title reads, we can't afford to make mistakes. You know, the last Merseyside derby ended, 4-1 at Goodison. Now, they went 2-0 up. Okay, they went 2-0 up. Again, 2 goals that could have been easily avoided. We got one back. The Marty Gray gets one back. And all of a sudden, you're thinking, do you know what? Crowd had got up for it. Their fans had gone home, as they always do when they concede a goal. Biggest myth in football. And we were starting to battle and we were starting to fight. And I'm not saying we were on top or we were creating massive chances or we were looking like we were going to win the game, but we were certainly putting them under a bit of pressure. And then Seamus Coleman makes quite possibly the worst mistake he could ever make on the halfway line. Lets Mo Salah get one-on-one with the goalkeeper. And, of course, Mohamed Salah's going to score. He's one of the, if not the best finishers in world football. So he slots, and then that was it then, done and dusted. All of that momentum killed. Why? Because we made the mistake. We put ourselves in that situation. I think every goal, if I remember rightly, and I have tried as hard as I can to block that game of football out of my mind, but if I can remember rightly, I think every goal we conceded on that day was a mistake from ourselves and was an avoidable goal. But that third goal, which really killed the game off and killed any sort of momentum or any sort of opportunity we had to maybe get back in the game. Imagine we'd have just scored the last minute equaliser there, to taking a point out of that, which again would have been really important now. But it was taken away because of an individual mistake. But it's not just the individual mistakes defensively. Richarlison can't afford to have 2, massive chances like he did on Wednesday night and miss them on Sunday. If Richarlison gets an opportunity 6 yards out with an open goal, he's got to score this time. If he gets a free header in the box, which I'm not sure he will because of how dominant Liverpool's defence are, but if he does, then he's got to score that. I don't want to be sitting here on Sunday night saying, okay, we've lost, but imagine we'd have scored this chance. Because, listen, in every game of football, you'd have chances. In every game of football, you'd have opportunities. And I was having this conversation yesterday about the Leicester game, and people were saying, yeah, but what if Maddison had scored his chances? What if, Fofana, what if Maddison had scored this? What if Fofana had scored this? I said, yeah, but Maddison had a chance. He had an opportunity. Richarlison missed an open goal from 5 yards out. He missed a free header from 5 yards out. Seamus Coleman missed an open goal because he took 3 hours to take the shot. So it's not just chances. These are blatant sitters. And we can't afford to be doing that, especially if we're giving them against teams like Liverpool who are who are at the top of their game and absolutely full of confidence at the moment. We can't afford to be giving those chances away. We can't afford to be, ultimately, missing those opportunities. And I don't think we'll get many opportunities on Sunday. So if we do get any, they've got to be taken. Whether it's Rondon up front, whether it's Richarlison, whether it's Anthony Gordon, whether it's the Marty Gray, whoever it may be, they've got to be taking those opportunities. For me, the way I would approach it if I was Frank Lampard, and I'm not Frank Lampard, evidently so, but the way I would approach it if I was Frank Lampard would be very similar to how I approached, he approached how Rafa Benitez approached the game against Chelsea. And that is 11 men behind the ball, defend, and then hit them on the counter-attack. It mightn't be good to watch. It mightn't be pretty. It mightn't be exciting. We mightn't all like it. We mightn't all want to see it. But at the end of the day, it's more effective than any other tactic we could employ going into this game. If we try and go toe-to-toe with them, they'll absolutely embarrass us. Because the simple fact of the matter is they're a much better football team than we are. Whether we've got more fight, whether we've got more desire, whether we can give more, they're a better football team than we are. So if we try and go toe-to-toe with them, it could be a cricket score. So the only way I see it is to sit back and try and hit them on the counter-attack. And as I said, if we do that, and we might get 1 or 2 chances in the game, they've got to be taken. And I know Jack says you're not going to finish every chance, but in a relegation battle, you need to finish the chances you get, especially if you're getting them in games like this, of the severity of this game of football. It will be extremely difficult because, as I said, it's not like Liverpool are on the beach. It's not like Liverpool are sitting there thinking, we've got nothing to play for, so it doesn't really matter to us. They can't afford to drop points at the moment because Manchester City are still ahead of them. They're still, at the top of that race. So Liverpool will be out there for all 3 points, and they'll be looking, thinking this is a game that we absolutely need to be winning because these aren't very good and haven't been very good. And as much as Jurgen Klopp says we can't afford to give everything because we've got, games coming up and this, that and the other, let's be honest with ourselves. He's chatting utter shite. He's chatting absolute shite. He does this before every derby. He comes out and he says something that effectively sets him up for, if they lose, it to be an excuse. And if they win, and they haven't lost many, in fact they've only lost one under Jurgen Klopp, and I can't remember what he said before the last one. But if they win, it basically makes us look worse. Because if Liverpool beats us on Sunday and we give up and we don't give as much effort or as much desire as we could or determination, then everybody will be looking, going, Jurgen Klopp literally come out and said that we can't afford to give everything in this game, and Everton still didn't give everything. So I'm not too sure that I believe that as much as him coming out, and I'm not going to say trying to excuse it in case he loses, because he's not going into this game thinking we're going to lose this or we could lose this. He's going into this game thinking this should be a routine 3 points. But I don't believe what he's saying. I think he's saying it to try and play down the situation a little bit. And for me, I just, as I said, I am dreading it. I am nervous. I am anxious. But you'd think I'd seen enough Merseyside derbies to not have this weird feeling that I've currently got at the moment. And that weird feeling is that of, why am I sitting here believing that we'll get something on Sunday? Because everything is telling me we shouldn't get anything, isn't it? The form of both teams, our away form in itself, where Liverpool are in the league, where Everton are in the league, their quality of player versus our quality of player, everything is pointing towards a comfortable routine victory for Liverpool. But something within my body tells me that's when I've seen Everton in the past pull out results that make people go, how the fucking hell have they managed that? And I really, really do hope that Sunday is another one of them. Not just because it's a derby and it's bragging rights and it's this, that and the other, because that's secondary now. Yes, that'll come, because that comes with every Merseyside derby, of course it does, but that's secondary now. I'm not thinking about, who can I wind up on Monday if we get a result, or if we get a win, who can I text, who can I have a go at? I'm thinking about, if we get a win, how many points clear of Burnley does that take us? How clear are we to being safe? And that's sad, and that is worrying, and that is frustrating, because that's not a conversation we should have to be having. But that is a conversation we're having, because that's the position that we're in. And as I said, there's nothing we can do about it. There's absolutely nothing we can do about it, and the only thing Frank Lampard and these players can do about it is turn up and give absolutely everything every time they go on that pitch. And Sunday is the big chance to do that, isn't it? Sunday is the game that these players absolutely have to give everything without no excuse. And there is no excuse for it. There's simply no excuse. We've had a few days off. Okay, we played on Wednesday, which I understand, but we've had a couple of days off. We'll have had more than a couple of days off. We'll have had a few days off. And this one is massive. It's absolutely massive. For many a reason. Am I looking forward to it? No. We'll go through our predicted starting 11 in a moment. Again, I'm not going to sit here and talk about the way in which Liverpool play. Typically in a preview, we'd sit here and talk about the style of the opposition and how we can counteract that. Liverpool's style is just go for the jugular. They've got good fullbacks that get forward and put crosses in. I think that to exploit them, in a sense, I think we should be exploiting their fullbacks defensively, because I don't think the pair of them are the best defenders in the world. Certainly not Trent Alexander-Arnold, as good as he is going forward. I'm not going to sit here and, be an idiot about it and say, he's fucking shite him. He's great going forward, but defensively, I do think he's suspect. I really do. Now, he's saved a lot by the fact that the two centre-halves that are, in and around them are extremely good footballers and defenders. So they are able to save a lot of his problems. But I think if we can get Gordon or Richarlison maybe running a, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Andy Robertson, then maybe that's where we could cause problems from. The midfield is going to be a big thing. They've got Thiago, they've got Fabinho, they've got Henderson, whoever will play within that midfield, whether it'll be them three or another, or interchange him. I don't think we can afford to lose the midfield battle. And we might lose the midfield battle on the basis that their midfielders are better than ours. But I think one thing we did lose on Wednesday, although I think we had the better chances, although I think we should have won the game, although I think we were unlucky, although I think we were dominated, I think the midfield were absolutely abysmal on Wednesday. And one thing's for sure is they can't afford to be that bad on Sunday. They simply can't afford to be that bad. If the midfield is that bad on Sunday, then again, this could be a cricket score. There's so many different components that could go into this being such a comfortable result for Liverpool. And that's what I'm saying. Everything has got to be perfect from Everton. And like I said before the Manchester City game, everything mightn't be enough. And everything wasn't enough in the end, but it wasn't enough because of a dodgy refereeing decision, which I also think will probably happen on Sunday. But everything mightn't be enough because everything from Everton is probably still not as good as 60% from Liverpool, because that's where they are as a team at the moment compared to where we are. But one thing's for sure is that's all we can do is give everything. No mistakes, nothing stupid. If we get chances, take them. The battle, the desire, the commitment, the passion, keeping your shape, working together, working for the team, listening to the manager, following the tactics, staying in shape, as I said, keeping your offside trap, all of that. It's got to all be in place come Sunday. And then, who knows? They might have a day off. They might get conceded. I don't think Liverpool have been particularly at their best recently. Whenever I've listened to people talk about them or commentators talk about them, they're always bragging about how they never need to be at the best to win games of football. Or, Liverpool haven't even been at the races today and they've still managed to win. So if that's the go by, then in recent weeks Liverpool haven't, although they've been clinical and they're still winning games 3 or 4-0, they haven't been at the races, and maybe we can catch them on an even more off day. One thing's for sure is I don't think it'll be like the game they played against Manchester United, because I think our players will care more, and I think they've got to care more, because I don't think they'll get away with not caring more, to be honest with you. I think if any of them dare turn up on Sunday and hang their heads and walk around and don't look interested, I don't think many of them will play for this football club ever again. So there's a lot riding on it. It's not just the Merseyside derby. It's not just a game at Anfield. It's not just the usual nerves. And in fact, to be honest, the usual nerves and anxiety I have around a Merseyside derby are not there now, because they've completely been replaced over the last 2 or 3 months with nerves and anxiety about whether or not we'll stay up. So now it's got to the Merseyside derby. I don't actually feel nervous that we're playing Liverpool. I don't feel nervous that it's at Anfield. I don't feel on edge. I don't feel a bit like, oh shit, it's the derby this weekend. I just feel like, shit, another game of footy at the weekend that we can't afford to lose, really. So, I've been feeling like this for weeks. So every game's felt like a Merseyside derby in terms of the importance of it. So yeah, it'll be tough. It will be extremely difficult. If it goes without saying, we know the level of Liverpool. We know how good, their manager is. As much as I don't like him, he's a fantastic manager. Their playing team, are fantastic. They're having a season that, again, is what every football fan wants, don't they? And to think that they live streets away and doors away, and they're in that position and we're in the position we are in, it's just not fair. We must have all been proper honourable bastards in a previous life, us, if you believe in that sort of stuff. But the reality is, as I said, stranger things have happened, and I don't know. Maybe it's just naivety, maybe it's just sheer, I don't know, maybe I'm just going a bit loopy, but I just have this feeling that, what? As I said, it's not a confidence. It's not a cockiness, we'll beat these or we'll get something out of this. These are shit. It's just I don't know, I've just got this feeling that the games that you look at with Everton typically over the years and you think, no, get nothing out of that. That'll be a defeat. I'm dreading this game. We'll get absolutely bounced there. Just sometimes it doesn't go like that. It goes the other way. And it's the games that you think, yeah, we'll win this one today, that we don't win. And I know this is different because of the level of quality and there's such a difference in ability of players and stuff and position in the league. But I don't know. I've just got a weird feeling about it. I really, really do. If you are enjoying, by the way, please hit that like button. It only takes a second. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. That would mean a massive amount to me. Big thanks to everybody for watching the live comments. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. As I said, if you're watching as a YouTube video, leave your comments down below. Lisa says, I haven't been at their best while they just wiped the floor with City and absolutely destroyed United. Again, that's not why I don't watch them, so I don't know what they've played like. I'm just going off what I've heard different pundits and stuff saying when I've been watching other games. I've not watched them, so I wouldn't know. But what I do know is that Manchester City had a goalkeeper in on the semi-final of the FA Cup who is arguably the worst in the Premier League. He's fucking abysmal. I've seen the highlights. I've seen the mistake. Fucking atrocious. And Manchester United are shite. Absolutely shite. So, but again, as I said, that's just what I don't watch them to be able to sit here and say they haven't been at their best. I wouldn't know. TJ says, I'm 98%, we get battered 2%, they don't show up when we squeeze a result. There you go. Captain Coleman says, David. Marty says, so how can they be so fit and have no injuries and be in 4 cups? Yeah, listen, that's a story for a different live stream, isn't it? And probably a different channel as well. I'm not going to sit here and talk about that because, listen, Everton's injury list is just shocking, absolutely shocking. The players and manager need to treat this as winnable. I'll just take it 1 minute at a time. Spot on, mate. Toffee Goal says these players simply have to give their all and ride their luck, hoping we can get a point. I hope us being the underdogs helps us. Hopefully. Jack the Lad says that's where we were going wrong. We didn't have much pace under Ancelotti. Players like Gordon, Gray lose the ball. We need players with delivery. Yeah, I agree. Jack the Lad also says Gordon is more effective on the bench. Lee Carsley didn't start him. He still scored. I don't know. Lee Carsley has got a lot of other quality at his disposal in the England setup. Everton haven't. It's as simple as that. TJ says, Man United were shy, but the goals they scored were top. They were. Again, I've seen the highlights. They were. But the Man United are still absolutely woeful. And we beat Man United. And that's saying something at the moment. Everton Top says, hi Cam, I think 2-1 Everton win. I hope so. Pokey says, what we need to do in this game is make it audible, scrappy, be nasty to play against, audible, waste time, break up the play, get 10 men available. Absolutely, and I think that's a really, really good point. That it's difficult looking at towards a derby because the general sort of thought process, I suppose, amongst Evertonians at the moment will be, right, well, we can't go toe-to-toe with them because they're a better team than we are. If we stick 11 men behind the ball, then it's probably likely that during the course of 90 minutes, they'll break that down at some point. So what's the other reason? We'll go old school, throw the tackles in, get in their face, make it physical, make it hard, make it tough. But we all know in modern day football that in this day and age, you can't do that because you'll just get sent off. In this day and age, you can't throw a little tackle in that would use, especially in a Merseyside derby, a tackle that's usually a yellow card. If they've got a blue shirt on, it's a red card. If they've got a red shirt on, they get away with it. That's just how Merseyside derbies are. It's always been the same. I don't give a shit what anybody says. The referees are as corrupt as they possibly come when it comes to Merseyside derbies. I'm not asked what anybody says. It's as simple as that. So it's different to what a Merseyside derby would usually be, where you go, throw the tackles in, battle get. But I 100% I agree with you. Even the wasting time, breaking up play. If a player gets pushed, fall on the ball. Do what they will do, because they'll do all of this. They'll absolutely do all of this. Moan at the referee, get in the referee's face. That's all Jordan Henderson does. Van Dijk does it all the time. A player takes a throw in a yard ahead of where he should, and Van Dijk's in the referee's ear telling him to get him sent off. Do all of that. Match them for that snideness. Match them for that. Match Robertson for his snideness and his, little isms that he does. Match all of that. And if you match it, then the referee's got no leg to stand on in terms of sending people off, or because you're matching what they can bring, or go a bit more than they do. But what we can't do is throw silly challenges in, because the referee, who I believe is Stuart Atwell, will get his red card out at any possible chance, any possible opportunity. So there's that fine line between them. Cam, if we stay up, do you think Silva team win us. I don't know what you mean, mate. Marty says, were we much better when random come on the long ball, got the derby? Again, I don't know. Alex says, we're going to lose unless Pickford reminds us that he's world class. I want to feel the same as you, mate. Smoke what you want. I don't see it, mate. Are these comments not making much sense, or am I just going off my head? Jack the Lad says, I feel Iwobi can play wing or cam. Maybe Delhi cam to rough up their midfield. I didn't realise Iwobi was that quick. I don't think Delhi's roughing up anything, if I'm being honest with you. Scouts Red says, that's 100% how I see it. Anything less than 100% commitment from Everton will be a disaster, especially at the back. I see some of your games where you go behind and just give up. Yeah, can't disagree with that, mate. First derby at Anfield with fans since that derby at Goodison. It is. TJ says, Burnley and Southampton keep going down and pretending to have head injuries, so the ref stops the game 20 times. Yeah, you've got to be that snide. You've got to be that, we've got to do that. We've simply got to do that. Who is the defender that Everton have been linked with today? I don't know. We faced 90 minutes of booing to face what they all do at Anfield. Pickford should 100% play, mate. 100% play. Do I think Fulham will beat us next season if we stay up? Probably not. But yeah, look. Let's go into our predicted starting 11 then. Again, I just hate these games. I hate them. Because I hate the fact that I've got a bit of a feeling. I absolutely hate it. I hate it. Because deep down, I know, realistically, 15 minutes in, I'm going to be sitting there. We'll be 2-0 down. I'll be fucking fuming. It'll be game over. And I'll be gutted. But I hate this feeling I've got that's telling me, well, but what if, what if you get a point? Or what if, the players actually turn up and they battle and they work and there's that fight and you get, mate, what if you get a win? I just again, why do I do it to myself? But I'm not going to sit here and be ultra negative because the players can't be ultra negative. Because as I said, if the players are going into this one thinking, get this over and done with, we're not getting anything out of this, then they may as well just not turn up. They may as well just not turn up because it's absolutely pointless. We've got to be able to believe that we can get something out of this game. It's as simple as that. It really, really is. Hernandez says the false hope is the worst part of supporting this team. Get up to be constantly let down. Yeah, well, that's an Evertonian, isn't it, mate? That's what being an Evertonian is. If you are enjoying, by the way, please hit that like button. It does only take a second. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. Massive thanks to everybody in the live comments. Anyway, let's get into my predicted starting 11. So in goal, I am going for Jordan Pickford. He will get a frosty reception. Of course he will. That is to be expected. But he's mature enough, he's experienced enough, he knows, he's played in front of the Newcastle fans enough times to understand that frosty reception and to be able to deal with that. And as I said, for me, Jordan Pickford is our number one, and he's our number one for a reason. He's been fantastic recently. He was fantastic against Manchester United. He didn't have an awful lot to do against Leicester, but what he had to do, he done well. So yeah, he starts. It's as simple as that. Left back, I'm going for Vitaly Mykolenko. Now, I've gone with 4 at the back because I don't necessarily think Lampard will go with 5 at the back, but he might go with 5 at the back, and if he does, then obviously it will be Mykolenko, Keane, Godfrey, Mina, and probably Coleman. But I've gone with a 4 just because I think having a 3 in midfield will be more effective than having an extra man in the defence. So I've gone with Mykolenko left back. Again, I think he was great against Leicester. I think he was man of the match against Manchester United. I think he was the only player really that against Leicester could have walked off and thought, yeah, I was at the top of my game for the entirety of that game. And there's no reason why he shouldn't start again. He deserves a start. He's been brilliant recently. So Mykolenko's in there. Centre backs have gone for Michael Keane and Yerry Mina. I think the partnership is probably the best we've got at the club. I'm still yet to believe, although Ben Godfrey and Yerry Mina seem, on paper as the best, partnership, I'm still yet to see Yerry Mina and Ben Godfrey really put that into play. Whereas Michael Keane and Yerry Mina have had a partnership before that has seemed the most solid that we could put out there. And then I'm actually going for Ben Godfrey at right back. Listen, I've said before and I'll say it again, I don't think Seamus Coleman can play 2 games in a week. I certainly don't think Seamus Coleman can play 2 games in which one of them he was poor, because let's have it right, he was fucking awful the other night, and the other is playing against some of the best and fastest forwards on the planet. I just think he'll get absolutely torn to bits. Whereas Ben Godfrey, he's got that natural pace, he's got that natural athleticism, he's not afraid to throw a tackle in. I just think having Ben Godfrey at right back over Seamus Coleman is much more sensible, because I just think he's got it. And although Ben Godfrey's positioning might be a little bit off, or it mightn't be as good as Seamus Coleman's, Ben Godfrey's pace and athleticism will get him out of situations where it's Seamus. I just fear Seamus will have another one of them games on Sunday where we all look and think your legacy is being ripped to bits in front of our very eyes. So I've gone with Ben Godfrey at right back, leaving Seamus Coleman out. Midfield, I've gone with Abdoulaye Doucouré, Alan and Alex Iwobi. Again, Doucouré back in there next to Alan. Obviously, he didn't play at all on Wednesday, so he's had that extra rest to recuperate. We know today from Frank Lampard's pre-game press conference that Donny van der Beek and Andre Gomez are both injured. So, no Donny van der Beek or Andre Gomez. Dele Alli is in with a shout because of the impact that he had off the bench on Wednesday, but again, I just don't think he's got the intensity to really deal with this fixture, to be honest with you. I just don't think... I don't know. I just don't think he's got that athleticism or intensity to keep up with Liverpool's midfield. And although Alan hasn't, having him next to Doucouré again, Doucouré's got a big role to play. Alan's sitting a little bit deeper, Doucouré's sitting a little bit further forward. Big roles to play in this one. And then Alex Iwobi in front of them. Again, I think secondary to Mykolenko, Alex Iwobi's probably been the other player that we've looked at over the last 2 games and thought, you know what, you can hold your head up high. You've put a performance in. You've worked hard. You've played well. His work rate at the minute has been fantastic. His final ball could do with improving, but he hasn't given up. He's battled. He's worked hard. I think that's the type of battle and desire that we'll need on Sunday. And then front 3, I'm going with Gordon, Richarlison on the wings, and then Rondon up front. No Damari Gray for me. Simple, really. I don't think he was good enough the other day, and I don't think he's been good enough for a while now. Having him to come off the bench and provide that threat off the bench, I think is more impactful than him starting and just ghosting a game of football, as I think he has done in recent weeks. I think Richarlison is also better on the wing. I think Richarlison is also more, you can utilise him more. He can move a lot more. He's much more free on the wing. Plus, he's not a target man. And if we're going to use this as a defend and lump the ball forward and try and hit a team on the counter attack, having somebody like Rondon up front, a target man, somebody that can hold the ball up, take it down, play it off, just somebody to give Virgil van Dijk and whoever else plays next to him a problem. I think Rondon is more likely to do that than Richarlison is, and then you've got Richarlison's pace and dribbling ability on either wing, and then obviously Anthony Gordon on the other. So yeah, there you go. That is my predicted starting 11. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Loads of people getting involved in the live comments. What the hell? Anything can happen in a football game, says Kanasuke Kennedy. Of course it can. Won't be asked to start, says Jack. I agree. He wasn't missing for the Newcastle game because of that, Marty. He was missing because he was injured, so I don't know where you've read that. Eugene's going for 4-1 Everton. I played Doucouré, need his energy, says Stephen. Yes, I played Godfrey. Right back, says Pokey. Same here, my mate. Same here. Scouse Red says, I don't mean this as an insult. We've got a Champions League semi-final 3 days later, Newcastle away 2.5 days later, and a Champions League semi-final again 3 days after that, then Spurs 4 days later. Klopp will play a second team. You have a chance. Well, he played the second team a couple of years ago and we still managed to lose. So if he does play a second team, that's even more motivation and reason for Everton to go out and get the fucking 3 points, because we need it. And although a Liverpool second team is still a good team, evidently, there's a lot less to have to worry about. So, again, that's on Frank Lampard and the Everton team. So, there you go. Anyway, look, we are going to finish it up there then. If you have enjoyed this one, please do hit that like button once again. A massive thank you to everybody watching in the live comments. Really do appreciate it. If you're watching as a YouTube video, then please do leave your thoughts in the comment section and we'll get involved with as many of them as possible. We'll obviously be back on Sunday with the instant match reaction and the player rating, so don't forget to join us for those. If you are new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe as well. That would mean a massive amount to me. And as I said, just before I go, I suppose the only thing I can say is believe. We don't know anything can happen in football. And although we're all thinking the same, and that is, I'm absolutely dead in this because we're probably going to be beating about 83-0. I think having that little bit of belief and that little bit of, but what if? And I don't think the players should have that. I think the players should be thinking, we're in the shit here, so we need to go out and we need to put a performance in. The results, again, the players will know how good Liverpool are and the golfing class, but they need to understand we've got to give everything. We've got to give absolutely everything. And if we do that, then who knows? And if we do that and we lose, then at least we can sit here and go, they give everything there today. And we just lost to a team that had a better team, or the dodgy refereeing decision probably. But if they don't do that, and again, it's heads dropping and walking around and not being arsed, that's when they'll become, I was going to say there'll be a real problem, but there's already a real problem, but you know what I mean. So yeah, nobody's excited for this one. We'll see how it goes, but, what if, eh? Let's just hope. We can only hope, can't we? If we can't hope, then what's the fucking point? So, there you go. If you have enjoyed this one, please hit that like button. If you're new, don't forget to subscribe. Massive thanks to everybody in the comments. If you're watching down below on a YouTube video, give us your thoughts down below as well. Big thank you all for watching. Subscribe if you're new, and we'll see you soon on the Mighty Blues. Up the toffees. Come on. Please, 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 please. See you later.